Good morning. I'm in Sonestown, Sullivan County, up here in the wilds of Pennsylvania, along the Muncy Creek. And why am I here? Looking for a railroad. The Williamsport and Northern Branch. And I'm here at the railroad station. This will be the Sonestown railroad station. The Williamsport and Northern Branch. Isn't that pretty neat? Originally it was the Muncy Creek Railway. Began in 1872 to 1882. But in 1872, then the Williamsport and Northern Branch Railroad then began from their headquarters in Hughesville, and came up from Hughesville to Tripoli Park, Pitcher Rocks, Glenmore, and Beach Glen. Beach Glen we come down from off of 42 and get on 220. Is this my interest? I'll tell you about it somewhere else. So from the station house, passenger station house in Sonestown, then, from what I read about the railroad then, and the way it looks here, the terrain, I will say that the railroad then ran along this road. I took a ride out there, and it becomes a private lane, so I got out of there. And just walking along here for a minute or two along Muncy Creek. So what I read about it is that it ran the east side then of Muncy Creek. And once I get up here a little bit further, then you'll be able to take a look at Muncy Creek. But for the most part, it was a freight line. From Sonestown, then it ran up towards Ringdale and the Loyalsock Creek area, Birch Creek area, out there towards Mildred and Lopez to Bernice. The Bernice coal land. So it went from Hughesville, actually a little bit north, a little village called Halls, from Hughesville all the way up to Bernice. Now, it's not my main interest, but I just wanted to check this out because it does have a purpose. The railroad, the Williamsport and Northern Branch, then, other purpose was to carry many passengers up from the valley to many resorts. And so, and I'm going to turn around here because it gives you a look at Muncy Creek. I'm going to turn around and just say that My main interest then I want to find from this end down on 220, if there's anything I can see of the Eaglesmere Railroad. The Eaglesmere Railroad then was an 8-mile long track running up, running up to what they call the outlet. 8 miles. The Eaglesmere was a passenger train. And I'll talk about that a little bit further. But from here then, I'm going to go look for a covered bridge. I'm here at Sonestown's covered bridge. To be honest with you, I passed by here many times and never stopped in here. I was always in a hurry to get up to the cabin. So I'll show you this as I tell you a story. Sonestown covered bridge. This Bird Truss covered bridge was built by Sadler and Rogers, 1831 to 1913, from Hillsgrove. He built this in the 1850s. At one time there were 30 covered bridges in Sullivan County. By 1954 only 5 remain. Today there are 3. Forksville, which I filmed there, and I've been there many times. Hillsgrove, I've been there maybe 3 times and filmed there, and here I am at Sonestown. Now, I have mentioned about the old rustic cabin that I have been coming up to here for many years, and I have filmed there. And I have mentioned about my good friend, brother, best friend Marty owning it. Well, his father owned it. Built it back in the about 1945, 46, 47. But before then is where my story comes in. Marty's dad's name was Walter Schneck. And as a young man, him and his friend went out west. Not soon after high school, went out west to get a job. And this is where he spent some of his time as a youth. And eventually then he came back to Schuylkill County to Pottsville, Pennsylvania. And he found himself up in coal mines, the coal mines up here in Sullivan County. He must have heard about the wilds of Sullivan County, the wilds of Pennsylvania. This was probably maybe in the 1920, 25, 26, 27. And it was a lot wilder then. As we look at Muncy Creek, I think of Walter, and I think of my friend Marty. He mentioned casually sometimes that his father worked in the coal mines over by Bernice. Now isn't that something, because this might have been in the late 1920s or so, and he worked in that exact coal mine where the Williamsport and the Northern Branch Railroad delivered coal from. Fascinating how it all comes around. From the other side then, looking out towards 220, Walter, he built himself a cabin. Built himself a cabin along Birch Creek. And eventually, though, he moved back into Schuylkill County, and this would have been in the 1930s, somewhere before the Depression, maybe after the Depression, somewhere around that time. So he had a cabin up here and spent a lot of weekends up here in Sullivan County. When the Depression hit, then Walter was afraid that he couldn't take care of the place because one reason is he couldn't get the gas to come up. So he sold it. He sold the cabin. And then it wasn't until years later then that he built another one. He built that along Birch Creek, maybe about 2 or 3 miles possibly from his other one. Built it from scratch. And that's the one that I go to now. So I just love that, you know. And if Marty was alive right now, he'd love to hear this story, you know. And he'd probably tell me more too about his dad and his dad working in the coal field over in Bernice. Now I did mention the date. The Williamsport Northern Branch ran until 1937, so Walter would have been very familiar with the railroad, and may have even been on it. Listening to Marty's stories about his father, I am sure that he did. So, Eaglesmere Railroad. I've been around here, Sonestown, looking for Outlet Road. I saw that on Google Map at home, and as much as I could figure out now, Fairmount Street, Fairmount Road is across 220. So, from Sonestown, then, the railroad started up the mountain to Eaglesmere. Of course, 220 wouldn't have been here. I was fortunate enough to talk to a local. I just spent probably almost an hour with her, and she did inform me of many, many things, but she did inform me that yes, the Eaglesmere Railroad then went up Fairmount Road. Now I was up there before I met her, and it winds itself up there through the mountain, and there's a lot of private property up there, and so of course, what could I see? What could I know? You know, and like she said, you're not going to know where the railroad was unless you really know the terrain and you have a local up there to show me. So, she showed me some pictures. Sonestown showed me a picture of an engine of a train, of the Eaglesmere Railroad train, and I'll share them with you. But until from here, now I'm going to go up to the museum in Eaglesmere and see if I can get a little bit more information about it. But anyway, this is where it crossed. This is where it went up the mountain.